Princess Diana's time capsule, hidden away in 1991 beneath the foundations of Great Ormond Street Hospital's Variety Club building, has finally resurfaced 34 years later. What was meant to remain untouched for centuries has instead emerged in 2025, unveiling an extraordinary collection of items that capture not just a moment in time, but also the legacy of the woman the world came to know as the People's Princess. When construction workers preparing the site for a brand new children's cancer center struck something unexpected beneath the ground, they had no idea what they were about to uncover. A lead-lined wooden box, carefully sealed, emerged from the earth, and with it, a flood of emotion. This was no ordinary box. This was the time capsule buried during Princess Diana's 1991 foundation stone ceremony, chosen and curated with the help of children, and tied forever to her compassion, her charisma, and her enduring presence in British history. The capsule was originally created after a Blue Peter contest in 1991, where two children, David Watson, then 11 years old, from Devon, and Sylvia Fawkes, just 9 years old, from Norwich, were chosen to decide what the future should see when the capsule was one day opened. Guided by Princess Diana herself, the children selected items that painted a vivid portrait of the early 1990s, a period that now feels like another world entirely. Inside, archaeologists, hospital staff, and historians found an eclectic treasure trove: a Kylie Minogue CD titled Rhythm of Love, a solar-powered calculator, a pocket television, a snowflake hologram, 10 tree seeds, a sheet of recycled paper, British coins, a European passport, a copy of the Times newspaper from the day of burial, and a photograph of Princess Diana herself. Each of these items is more than an object. They are time-stamped echoes of what life was like in 1991, and each carries a symbolic meaning. The Kylie Minogue CD captures the pop culture vibrancy of the early 90s, when the cassette tape was giving way to the shiny compact disc, and music was as much about dance floors as it was about star power. The solar-powered calculator was a nod to the future of technology, a little gadget that represented the optimism of science and sustainability. The tiny pocket TV, battery-operated and almost toy-like by today's standards, was once seen as revolutionary, bringing moving pictures into the palm of your hand decades before smartphones made it normal. The snowflake hologram? A reminder of the 1990s obsession with futuristic designs, a little piece of glittering nostalgia. The 10 tree seeds spoke directly to environmental awareness, a message planted with the hope that future generations would grow a greener world. The sheet of recycled paper was another environmentally conscious choice, a reminder that even then, conversations about saving the planet were beginning to shape how young people thought. The British coins symbolized wealth, heritage, and continuity. The European passport, however, carries a much deeper resonance today than it did in 1991. At the time, it was a marker of unity and connection within Europe. But in the post-Brexit world, that simple passport has become a bittersweet reminder of an era of belonging that no longer exists. The copy of the Times newspaper was perhaps the most direct snapshot of history, filled with headlines from the Cold War, the Gulf War, and political debates that shaped that decade. And then there was the photograph of Princess Diana herself, smiling, radiant, her eyes filled with the warmth she was famous for. That photograph now feels like the beating heart of the capsule, a message from Diana across the decades to those who would one day open the box. What makes this discovery even more remarkable is how well the items survived. Despite some water damage, most were still intact, preserved against the odds, waiting for this very moment. For those who worked at Great Ormond Street Hospital in 1991, or who were children then, it felt like opening a portal to their own pasts. For today's generation, it felt like discovering Diana all over again, in a form untouched by tragedy or time. Jason Dawson, one of the project leaders overseeing the hospital's redevelopment, described the moment as emotionally resonant. And indeed, it was. This was not just about objects from the 1990s. This was about Diana's enduring presence. Even in something as small as a solar calculator or a photograph, the humanity she was known for shone through. The capsule was always meant to be a gift to the future, and now, 3 decades later, that gift has been unwrapped. Public reaction has been nothing short of overwhelming. Social media lit up with nostalgia as people recalled their own memories of the early 90s. Fans of Diana called the capsule a message from the princess to us, while others remarked that the item showed how far technology, culture, and politics have come since her time. The Kylie Minogue CD in particular sparked a wave of fond memories, with fans revisiting the songs that defined that era. Environmentalists pointed to the seeds and recycled paper as proof that even 34 years ago, the conversation about saving the earth was already taking root in children's imaginations. The hospital has confirmed that a new time capsule will be created as part of the new Children's Cancer Center, carrying forward the tradition that Diana helped establish. The contents of this new capsule have not yet been announced, but the hope is that it will reflect today's world in the same way the 1991 capsule reflected its own. And perhaps, decades from now, another generation will open it and feel the same rush of connection to history that we are experiencing today. Princess Diana's legacy has always been about more than just her status as a royal. It was about empathy, about her ability to bridge divides, to touch the lives of children, families, and strangers with a warmth that never felt forced. The discovery of this time capsule is yet another reminder of how deeply she cared about children and their place in the future. Even the very act of letting children decide what should go inside speaks volumes about her belief that the voices of the young matter. Think about the symbolism here. Diana, often called the people's princess, overseeing a capsule filled not with royal treasures, not with jewels or grand artifacts, but with everyday objects chosen by ordinary children. A CD, a newspaper, a passport, a snowflake hologram, items that might seem mundane, but which now, with the benefit of hindsight, feel priceless. They remind us that history is not just written in wars and politics, but in the music we listen to, the technology we marvel at, and the simple hopes we plant as seeds for the future. As the capsule's discovery makes headlines worldwide, it's impossible not to feel that Diana herself is part of this moment. She may no longer be with us, but her presence is stitched into these objects. Each one whispers of the early 90s, yes, but also of the woman who gave her time, her care, and her heart to children who needed it most. In a way, the capsule's early discovery feels like fate. It was meant to be open centuries from now, but perhaps, just perhaps, this was the right moment. A moment when the world, divided and weary, could use a reminder of Diana's compassion. A moment when technology has advanced so far that looking back at a pocket TV feels both humorous and humbling. A moment when the European passport stands as a symbol of lost unity, and a photograph of Diana feels like a smile sent directly to us across time. As Great Ormond Street Hospital continues its vital mission of caring for children, this capsule will now take its place in history, not just as a box of objects, but as a window into an era and a tribute to Diana's lasting influence. And for millions around the world, this story is another chapter in a legacy that continues to inspire decades after her passing. The unearthing of Princess Diana's time capsule is not simply about nostalgia. It's about connection. Connection to a past we sometimes forget, connection to a princess who gave her heart to the people, and connection to a future that she believed in enough to preserve these little fragments of hope. And so, as the items are cataloged, displayed, and remembered, one thing is certain. The people's princess has spoken once again, across 34 years, reminding us who she was, what she stood for, and why she will never be forgotten. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.